Welcome back. So today we'll be talking about service endpoints and securing storage. So if we talk about service endpoints, it provides the secure and direct connectivity to Azure services over the optimized route over the Azure backbone network. So endpoints allows you to secure your critical Azure service resources to only your virtual networks. Service endpoints enables private IP address in the VNet to reach the endpoint of Azure services without needing a public IP on that virtual network. So coming to today's lab scenario, we're going to create a storage endpoint. So the traffic destined to Azure storage always stays within the Azure backbone network, and configure the storage endpoint so only resources from a specific subnet can access it, and then confirm that the resource outside the specific subnet cannot access that storage. So if you see the architecture, this is the architecture that we're gonna design. So initially we'll be creating the virtual networks, and in which there will be public and private subnets. For this we'll be adding the tag has Microsoft storage for this service tag, and for this particular private VNet we'll be adding NSGs, and we'll try to connect to the file share using private as well as public VMs. Saying that, let's jump into the video. So initially we have to create the virtual network. For that, let's go to the virtual network. So I've already created it, so let me show you how this is done. So, it's taking time. So this is the virtual network that has been created. So you just need to click create and select the appropriate subscription and select the resource group, which is it 500 lab 12. If you don't have this resource group, create new and add this name there, and it should be East US. And coming to the virtual network, this is the virtual network that we need to create. However, I'll be getting error because it's already present. So that is the reason we are getting error. So I'm just keeping it 1. Next, go to the IP address, and it should be, instead of 1 it is 0, and I'll be getting error because it's already there. And you need to create a subnet which is public. So if you click public, and the IP would be, this is the IP range for that, and you just need to add it, and finally review and create. So this will create this virtual network. This will create this virtual network, the whole box, and inside it will be creating 2 different subnets, which is public and private. So once it is done, so we already created public. So go back. So if you click it under the subnets, you can see the public IP. So next you have to create the private. So you have to add a subnet to the virtual network and configure the storage endpoint. So this is, I just created for testing purpose. I'll say in the end. So you can create private. So this is the configuration of the private, and initially there is no network security group. We'll be associating in the next few tasks. Coming to the storage, which we'll be doing in the next few tasks, since it's also associated with this storage endpoint, Microsoft storage. So to go back, so once you create this particular subnet, next we have to configure a network security group to restrict the access to the subnet. So from there we'll be creating NSGs, which we have already associated here. You can see there is already associated. So now we are going to create that. So if you go back, type network security groups, click that. So you can see we have already created that. So let me show you how this is done. So initially you have to just create a button and make sure you select the appropriate resource group, and coming to the name of the instance, it will be my NSG private. I'll be getting error, so I'm just keeping it 1 and just review and create it. So once it is done, you have to go back to the resource group and click the NSG, and there are two inbound as well as outbound rules. So first we'll add outbound rules. So let's go ahead and add the outbound rules. So these are the two outbound rules that we have created. So you just need to click add, and so the destination will be the service stack, and it will be the storage it will be the storage. So click storage, and the priority will be 1000. However, I'm just leaving it because if I keep 1000 I'll be getting error, and the name would be allow storage all. So we can click here. This is the storage name according to the docs, and you just need to create, and coming to the port ranges, keep star which says all. So once it's done, just need to add it. So you can see this is the one that we have created. So since the priority is 100 here, and coming to deny internet, so this is the configurations for that. So we are denying internet for this particular NSG group. So the one which is associated with this NSG group, they cannot connect with the internet since it's denied here, whereas we can connect the storage. So once it is done, let's go and add the inbound rules. So here you have to, so this is the one that we have created, which is allow RTP, and this is the configurations for that, so that we can connect to this RDP, and the priority is 1200. So this is the configuration for these two, and once it is done, we have to associate with the private subnet. For that, we have to go to the subnets here, and you can see there is already associated with this private. Click the virtual network and click the appropriate subnet. In this case it will be the private, so you have to just click. However, I'll be getting error since it's already there, so you can just, once you add the subnet, click OK. It will be done for you. And once it's done, next, coming to the task 4, we have to create the storage account. So if you check here, we have created this public subnet, and we have created the private subnet, and we also created the NSG group, and now we also associated with this particular subnet. Now we have to create a storage account with a file share, which is this one, task 4. So let's go ahead and click the storage accounts. So we can go to the storage accounts, and here this is the storage account that has been created. So let me show you how this is done. So click create, and select the appropriate resource group, and coming to the storage name, it will be a unique name. So I just keep storage 500, so we can, so this is the, if there is any, for example, just keep storage, I think there should be an error. There you go, it's already been taken. So if I click storage 500, so this particular name has not been taken, so we can use that. So region is East US, and coming to the performance, it's standard, and the redundancy would be the locally redundant storage, which is the cheapest of all. So if you want to know about this, you can check the previous videos. So after this, you can go to the next, and you can review and create it. So you can see the other options if you want. However, you can go and review and create it. So once it's done, you can see this inside the storage accounts. Click that. So you can see under data storage, you can see a file shares. Click that, and you have to add the file share, which is named my file share, under this particular storage account that has been created. So it has been already created, so you just need to click file share and you have to add the name, which is my file share. So click that and just create it. So once it is done, we have to connect. So if we go back, click the file share. All okay. Why I'm getting here? Machine doesn't seem set up access. Okay, let me go back. So there is some error, so let me show you what has been done inside it. So I'll be creating another storage group, let's say 500, and let it be standard, let it be called redundant, and I'll be creating it. So okay, it's okay, yeah, create it. So I was just making sure it's under the same resource group. So once it is done, let's create the same file share service and try to connect it. Still deploying. So let's go to the resources, let's go to the file share, add the file, let's say sample, create, click. Now you can see we have the option here, so click the connect, and here make sure you copy this connection test result, which will be used in the next few tasks. So make sure you connect it. So once it is done, you can close this, you can go back to the storage, and so you can, so I'll be deleting this. So let me go to the initial main one which has been created, which is this one. So now we can go under the security plus networking and click the networking, and here you have to click the enable from the selected virtual networks and IPs. Initially it will be enabled from all networks, so select it and add the existing virtual network and add this particular virtual network that has been created before. So once it is done, make sure you save it, and the next task is to deploy the virtual machines into the designated subnets. So we have to create my VM public, which will be in this public subnet, and my VM private, which will be in the private subnet. So go back. Now let's go to the virtual machines, which is back, virtual machines. So I already created it. So create Azure virtual machine and select the appropriate resource group, which is AZ 500 lab 12. So the name of the virtual machine is my VM private. Error, keep one. And coming to the image, keep it as Windows Server 2022 Data Center, Azure Edition Gen 2, and use the username and password. So I'm just keeping test and a random password. Okay, let me add the main one. So this has been used. Comment to the password. Okay. So once it is done, coming to public inbound ports, make it none, and go to the next. And here, instead of premium, type HTTP and go to the networking and make sure it's your network, and it's a private that we're creating now. So VM and none. That's it. Go to the next, review the options, and review and create it. So it will be done. So basically here we are restricting the remote connection, but so you can create this way. So once it's done, similarly you have to proceed with the VM public with the same configurations, but instead of private you have to use public subnet and public IP. So you can create these two virtual machines there, and the next task would be to test the storage connection from the private subnet to confirm that the access is allowed. So we have to check from here. So VM should be able to access the storage accounts as it has the permission that we have given from the NSG rules. So if I go to the VM private and let me connect it through RTP and download the file, click it, let me connect, and password would be let me copy the password. Okay, yes. So I've already tried the commands. So initially from the file so in the storage you have created a file shares and you have copied this query, right? So if you connect the query that you have copied, you have to use that in that particular. So if I go back, so I have used that particular command and you can see it was successful. So successfully we were able to connect to that file share. And if I try to connect, try the test connection for the Bing, it was unsuccessful because we cannot access internet from this particular virtual machine because of these NSGs. So we are done with private. Let's go ahead and test the public. So I've already so let me go to the virtual machines, let me click the public and connect. Instead of RDP I'm going with patient, and let me add the username and password again. So add connect. So similarly I have used the same commands here, but in this case you'll be getting an error stating that access is denied, whereas if you try to connect with the internet we'll be getting true, because there is no network security group that's associated with this public subnet. Now we can terminate this one as well. Let me close it. So once the tasks are done, make sure you delete the resources. So if I go back here, paste, click. It's running. So once it's done, it will be deleted. So you can see we have already got the error since deleting it. So yeah, hope you guys have understood the concept of service endpoints and securing the storage. If you have liked the video, please click like below, and if you want to subscribe to my channel, please do subscribe to my channel. And thank you guys.